Did you hear about Pastor Joel Osteen? Did you hear about Stephen Furtick's huge house? Did you hear about Pastor Perry Noble? What about Benny Hinn? Jim Baker? Robert Tilton? All pastors who have fallen or got mixed up in some major controversy and criticism. But it's impossible for anyone, let alone pastors, to live a perfect life. And it's impossible to please everyone. And with today's technology and the internet, any little slip is subject to being international headlines within minutes. Most of the time, pastors fall because of personal decisions, lies, mismanagement of funds, sexual exploits, all sorts of slips and slides that come with the territory. But what if God was the one who caused the pastor to fall? What if God made a pastor say something false? What if God was the one who brought the pastor to his knees? Well, that would be, disturbing. And it would seem out of character with what we know about God. In the Old Testament, prophets spoke God's words to God's people. Prophets were men of God. They were men of honor. The men who presented the very words of God. Sure, there were some false prophets, just like today, but most of them were honorable. But in Ezekiel 14, we find God's people rebelling. They stopped following the God of heaven, and they set up idols to worship, trinkets. And that's one thing you don't do as a follower of God. Worship something else. Put your trust in something else. So God said, listen, I love these people, and I have their best interest in mind, but I've got to open their eyes. And that's going to take some serious tough love. Ezekiel 14:9 says, "And if the prophet is enticed to utter a prophecy, I, the Lord, have enticed that prophet, and I will stretch out my hand against him and destroy him from among my people Israel." So basically, God enticed some false prophets to speak on his behalf and then turned around and punished them for telling the lies. That's cray-cray. That's not right. That's not fair. If God makes you do something and you do it, you shouldn't be punished for it. But he did. I don't even know how to respond to that. I don't understand it. But here's what I do know about this text. God's desire is that Israel would be blessed. God's desire is that his people would flourish and prosper. God's desire is that his people would avoid pain and suffering. But it required tough love, and that's not popular. And sometimes it's not even understandable to the children being punished. Maybe that's the issue. So many believers focus on the stuff that's hard to understand about God. They focus on the controversy. They focus on what they can't figure out because they're children. They're immature. They don't understand about a loving heavenly Father and what he's doing, so they assume the worst. Know any teenagers who do that with their parents?
Whatever.
You don't understand, Mom. This party is so important. Everyone will be there. Yeah, including your bad news friends. You don't understand, Dad. I really love this boy, and he loves me. Girl, you're only 15 years old. You don't know what love is. You don't. You really don't. Don't even think that you do. That stuff going on inside you, all those flutters and mushy heart stuff that feels so good, it's all crap. It's insecurity. It's hormones and emotions. It's lust. It's all feelings. It's not love. There's a huge difference. Sorry, I started acting like your father. Who loves you, by the way? The point is, God is the ultimate parent, the ultimate father, and he loves you. You may not understand what he's doing. You may not like what he's doing. You may not agree with what he's doing, but that doesn't negate his love for you and that he has your best interest in mind. But you're not happy with how things are going, and you don't see a loving God in the midst of it all. Could it be that you're just a young child in the faith and you don't fully understand how a loving heavenly Father parents the children that he loves? Think about it and let us know how we can help.